Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Today we are going to use our YETI 1000 and our expansion battery to see how long this 23 cubic foot refrigerator slash freezer will run. Alright ladies and gentlemen, so as you can see I moved my little system here with my little roller that I made on the last video next to the refrigerator, and I turned off most of the lights so that you can see the display really well. And as you can see, we are at 100% right now with 0 input and 0 output, meaning that this YETI is 100% full. Okay, and as you can see, our external battery, or our external module, as they like to call it, is 100% full as well. And here, let me go ahead and turn the lights back on so that you can see the wire and everything. Here is my refrigerator wire. We are going to hook it up to our 120 right here. See that? That's our 120. We're going to hook it up to that. I'm going to show you guys how many watts it's pulling, and then we'll come back after a certain amount of time and see how much it's pulled until the battery is halfway done. So pretty much until we're at the second bar here. And let me see if I can show you with a clock. Just a second. It is 4:40 a.m. right now. So this is the clock on my range. So let's go ahead and hook this thing up. Okay, so I just unplugged my refrigerator. I'm just going to go right here. Okay. Let's see, let me look inside my fridge, make sure this, yep, the lights are on. And as you can see right there, it's pulling 196 watts. So we're at 190 right there. I'm not sure how high this will get, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my phone here for about 10 minutes just recording to see how high it gets, because I know that when the compressor in the refrigerator turns on, or the freezer, when the compressor turns on, it draws more wattage. Oh wow, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like 200 watts is what it was pulling when it was when the compressor was on. I thought it'd be a lot higher than that. This is going to be very interesting. I'm learning something new here. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to cover a few points and cover a few comments from the last video I posted in regard to this system. First of all, for me, this system is not intended to power my entire house. Let me tell you what I'm using this system for and what I will use it for once it evolves to the capacity that I want it to be. As it is now, with only the YETI 1000, the expansion manual, I will use the system in two ways. First one is, during the winter, I will use this system to power the electronics, to include the fan and fuel pump in my Toyo fuel oil house heater. It works quite well for this application, as I was able to use it on several occasions this last winter. The second way is, during the non-winter months, I will use this mainly to be able to keep my refrigerator and freezer running. You see, during the winter, I'm able to keep the refrigerator cool by using 2-liter bottles that are full of ice and placing them on top of the shelf while rotating them when they start to thaw with freshly frozen water bottles that I placed outside on my deck. So if the electricity goes out in the winter, I'm not really too concerned about the food inside my refrigerator spoiling. If the power outage is long enough, I can empty the contents of my freezer and place it inside of a tote that I can place on my deck as well, and it works really good, especially when it's like -20, -30 outside. Someone in the comments had concerns that because the extension module battery is a lead acid battery, that it may gas off fumes. After reading this myself, I was a bit concerned and decided to go to a discussion forum on the Goal Zero Q&A forum to see if I could find some answers, and this is what I found. The question goes as follows, quote, "Are the YETI tanks designed for outdoor use do they have a designated vent hole to attach a hose to vent out the gas buildup when used indoors or in tight spaces? And the Goal Zero support group replied with, quote, "Our tanks can certainly be used indoors. The batteries are completely sealed and do not emit any fumes or gases. We would not recommend them being used in an application where they will be exposed to the elements. They don't have any sort of waterproof or dustproof rating." So as you can see, these batteries were meant to be used outside and not outside, and they don't emit any fumes that could be hazardous to one's health. The last thing I wanted to cover is that when I first introduced this system to you guys on my last video, I was under the impression that the battery could only be drained up to 50% as to not harm it and mitigate the longevity of the battery's life. Well, I was wrong. This battery is a deep cycle battery, and from my understanding and what I've done some research on is that a deep cycle battery can be drained as much as 80% on a continual basis without harming its longevity in use. Now, I've also had some people ask, why not just use deep cycle batteries that you find in any store? Well, for the reason that most deep cycle batteries that I found, in this area at least, are the types that need to be vented. And the deep cycle batteries that I found, for example, the Optima blue color battery, those are deep cycle batteries, but they cost about $320, $340, which is only $60 shy of what this unit costs. And this unit is made specifically to be incorporated with the YETI 1000, 1400, or 3000. So I feel that this is the best way for me to go as far as having a system that will allow me to have all of the power that I need. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so hey, I want to show you something real quick. Well, first let's double check the time. All right, and then I want to show you something real quick. So as you can see, it's about 11 minutes after we started, all right? And I'll leave it there all day until we get down to about half full on that battery. But I wanted to show you my Aerogarden, or at least one of them, so you can see how it's doing. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Aerogarden that I planted lettuce in. And we've already eaten off of this a couple of times. We had some people over the other day for a barbecue. Or not some people, our neighbors. They're not some people. But we had them over for a barbecue. As you can see, we had some. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I bought hamburger buns. Didn't feel like bacon and didn't really have the time. So yeah, and it's looking really nice. This is really good. So look at that. You can eat greens all year round if you have one of these little guys. I'm really happy with them. The other two that I have that are this small, those other two are nothing but tomatoes. So we'll see what those look like once they're starting to get nice and big, but that's what this one looks like. All right, I wanted to show you this, ladies and gentlemen. So it looks like the refrigerator is running at full tilt right now, and it's drawing 331 watts roughly. Now 303, just goes up and down a little bit. But as you can see, our YETI is down to 97%, and it's drawing 446 watts from the expansion module. And the expansion module is still full, pretty much full. Okay, and it's only been about 20 minutes or so. Okay, so we'll see how this continues to do. It has been a little over 2 hours, about 2 hours and 20 minutes since we plugged the refrigerator into our YETI. And I'm pretty impressed so far, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look. Right now, our YETI is at 97%, and it's pulling 223 watts from the expansion module. And the expansion module is still between 75 and 100% full. So whenever the expansion module is less than 75% full, you'll see the top light turn off. So the top light is between 75 and 100. The second light from the top is between 50 and 74%, and so forth. The third one from the top is between 25 and 50, and the very first one in the bottom there is between 1 and 25 or 24. So far so good. We're a little over 2 hours in. I'll keep you updated as the day goes by. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been over 4 hours, and I have to tell you that I am pleasantly pleased. As you can see, the extension module or external battery is down 1 bar, so we have 3 full bars. And as you can see also, the refrigerator is currently running the compressor. Oh, it just stopped up. There you go. And the battery is feeding the YETI, keeping it at 98%. So as I told you earlier in the video, the extension battery or extension module is a deep cycle battery. So we can deplete it a lot more than just 50% without hurting the battery. So far, so good. I think this is really going well so far. So we'll see. I'll check in another 4 hours. It has been a bit over 6 hours since we first started the refrigerator off of the YETI and the expansion module. And I am very, very satisfied with its performance so far. Let me show you where we're at. Right now, as you can see here, we are down to the last 25% of the extension module's battery capacity. And this is where I'm going to turn it off, because I don't want to drain it below 20%, so that I can keep that battery as good as possible for as long as possible. And you can see here that the YETI is still 99% powered, and you can see that there's still wattage going into it, and that there's still an output. Right now it seems like both the refrigerator and the freezer are running at the same time. I'm not sure how that stuff works, but I think 6 hours is a great time just for the expansion. As you can see, we still have 99% on the YETI, which means that I could run it an additional 6 hours just on the YETI's battery. Do the community a favor if you have any ideas on what things we can do to extend the coolness or freezing capacity of refrigerators or freezers during power outages. Let us know. That way we can all get something out of it. So that's going to be it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you got something out of it. And those of you that are interested in this thing, people always ask me. I do have it listed in my Amazon storefront. Not trying to sell it to you. I just want to tell you where it is if you want to take a look at it. What do I think? I think this is awesome. I already talked to my wife, and we made plans on making a little cabinet for it when we redo one of our additions to this home, and having it there and having it wired to our critical things like refrigerators, freezers, toyo stoves, etc. So that will be coming later. I'm also excited to be able to add our solar panels to it, especially during these months where we get a lot of sun. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. Truly do appreciate you guys. Remember to be good to each other, because when good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper. I am out.